Robert Oppenheimer was born on April 22, 1904, in New York City. He came from a wealthy family. His father, Julius, was a successful textile importer, and his mother, Ella, was an artist. From a young age, Robert was a curious and intelligent child. He loved reading books and exploring nature. His parents gave him a strong education, and he went to the Ethical Culture School in New York, where he learned about science and the arts. After finishing high school, Robert went to Harvard University, one of the best colleges in the United States. He first studied chemistry but soon realized he loved physics even more. Physics is the study of how the universe works. At Harvard, he worked very hard and became known as a brilliant student. He graduated in just 3 years, a rare accomplishment. After that, he traveled to Europe to study more about physics, especially in England and Germany. After completing his education in Europe, Robert came back to the United States and began teaching at the University of California, Berkeley, and the California Institute of Technology. He became famous for his research in theoretical physics, a field that tries to explain how very small particles, like atoms and electrons, behave. His lectures were exciting, and many students admired him. Robert was not just a scientist but also a man who loved poetry, philosophy, and culture. During World War II, the U.S. government asked Oppenheimer to lead a secret project called the Manhattan Project. The goal was to build an atomic bomb, a powerful weapon that could end the war. Oppenheimer agreed and moved to a secret laboratory in Los Alamos, New Mexico. He brought together some of the world's best scientists to work on this project. After years of hard work, they succeeded in making the world's first atomic bomb. On July 16, 1945, the scientists tested the first atomic bomb in the New Mexico desert. The test was called the Trinity Test. When the bomb exploded, it lit up the sky and caused a huge explosion. Oppenheimer was deeply moved by what he saw. He later quoted a line from a Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." This test marked the beginning of a new era in history, the nuclear age. A few weeks after the test, in August 1945, 2 atomic bombs were dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bombs caused massive destruction and led to Japan surrendering, bringing an end to World War II. Oppenheimer felt proud that his work helped end the war, but at the same time, he felt guilty because the bombs had killed so many innocent people. After the war, Oppenheimer became a well-known public figure. He believed that nuclear power should be used for peaceful purposes, not for war. He also opposed the creation of the hydrogen bomb, which was even more powerful than the atomic bomb. Because of his views, some people in the U.S. government did not trust him. They accused him of being a communist sympathizer, which hurt his reputation. In 1954, Oppenheimer went through a security hearing where the government decided whether he should keep his top-secret security clearance. He was questioned for many days, and his connections with some communist friends from earlier in his life were used against him. In the end, the government took away his security clearance. This was a very painful time for Oppenheimer, and he felt like he had been betrayed after all his hard work for the country. After losing his security clearance, Oppenheimer continued to work in science, but he kept a lower profile. He became the director of the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton University, where he mentored young scientists and continued to write about physics and science. In his later years, Oppenheimer became more philosophical, thinking deeply about the moral responsibility of scientists. He died on February 18, 1967, from throat cancer. Robert Oppenheimer's life was full of brilliance and struggle. He changed the world by helping create the atomic bomb, but he also carried the heavy burden of its destruction. His story is a reminder that science has great power, and with that power comes responsibility. Oppenheimer's legacy lives on, both as a genius physicist and a man who questioned the moral limits of his achievements. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe.